Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer visits with Dick Gehring of the National Bison Association. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Next, Kyle catches up with Chelsea Good with the Livestock Marketing Association, and then hear what Galen Erickson has learned from visiting with Nebraska cattle feeders. We'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane Toews. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Grain Sorghum. Growers working together. Find out more at kansasgrainsorghum.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Kyle and Dick Gehring talk about what's going on at the National Bison Association.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Dick Gehring with the National Bison Association. Dick, when we talk about farm commodities and farm products, we fight demand, supply and demand, but when it comes to bison, really you have an extremely strong demand for your product.
That's correct. Our supply is continually being outstripped by demand. We can't keep up. We're looking for new producers all the time. One of the great things about not being a commodity is we have our own price structure that continues to rise based solely on demand for the meat product.
So your biggest issue is really finding more producers.
That's correct. We need producers of all sizes, but we're right now really kind of focused on some commercial producers, maybe 100, 200 cow herds with some potential for expansion from there.
So when you talk about price discovery and setting price and me wanting to sell my production, tell us how that might work out in Kansas.
There's markets, private markets everywhere that are looking for the product. In the first Saturday in December is an annual sale that the Kansas Buffalo Association puts on. It's an open consignment sale that is open to anybody to bring animals to. Very few requirements to get there, and we'll probably run somewhere around 300-400 head this year, which is one of our lighter sales, and it speaks to the type of demand that's out there right now. We're having a little bit of a hard time getting enough. We'd like to see 600, 700, 800 head.
Well, and truly a lot of your producers sell in other ways, but that sell kind of gives you an idea of what the going price is.
That is a very good venue, a very good market tool to figure out a production model. Price discovery, absolutely.
So if I'm considering this as a rancher, what sort of things do I need to keep in mind whether it's a fit for me or not? A
little bit of background in livestock production would be beneficial. It's not mandatory. Some cattle experience is always a good thing. Folks ask a lot of times what it's like, and I say it's exactly like raising cattle, only completely opposite. And they ask a lot about the fencing and about what kind of facility I need, and it sounds like, we really need to build it, extremely stout and all that. And I always tell them if you have to have it that stout and that strong and that high, you're doing it wrong, because it's all about handling the animal and how you do it. And
truly, they are a grazing animal. Most of them spend their entire life on a grass diet.
There's a lot of market out there that is for grass-fed only. They are a great ungulate. They a fantastic job of utilizing grass species and different forbs and sedges, and they're able to convert that much better than cattle over the entire year. They graze year-round, and there's also another market segment out there that does a little bit of feed finishing on the end, but most of their life is spent out there grazing.
We're visiting with Dick Gehring. He's with the National Bison Association. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamandkansas.com.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at KFRM.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Jim Miller, a Nebraska soybean producer, serves as the chairman of the U.S. Soybean Export Council. And Jim, back on July 13th, China back into the market, making significant purchase agreements to purchase U.S. soybeans.
We had a purchasing agreement signing ceremony with the Chinese delegation, and they signed agreements to purchase just a little over $5 billion worth of soybeans, or about 460 million bushels. So I believe that was just a little over a third of what their annual needs are from the U.S., so it's getting us off to a great start for the new marketing year.
And this really helps as far as the long-term outlook is concerned because of that global demand exists for U.S. soybeans.
Yes, it does. There's huge global demand for U.S. soybeans. It really helps to reiterate the fact of the work that we've been doing in China for the last 35 years. This year we'll be celebrating the 35th anniversary of doing work in China, and it really helps show that what we do over there has had an impact on building our preference for U.S. soy.
We always talk about their growing middle class that is eating more protein and wanting to consume more protein as well. But another thing about that is they also have the world's largest swine herd, and that plays a big factor into that too.
That's a lot of the work that we've done is we've helped them to grow and develop their swine industry and to utilize soybean meal in their diets for their livestock industry. China produces 6 times more hogs than we do here in the U.S., so that in itself is a huge demand for soy protein.
But once again, it goes back to that hard work that has been done throughout the years.
In 1990 was the first year that China started purchasing soy and started importing soy. In the last 22 years, that imports of soy from around the world has grown to 84 million metric tons, and they project that by the year 2020 that they will be importing over 100 million metric tons. So the demand for soy protein in China continues to increase. These signing agreements really show the commitment that China has wanting to work with U.S. and purchase U.S. soy. With all the talk about sanctions with China and that type of thing, with these purchasing agreements, this really shows China's commitment to want to buy U.S. soy and to work with the U.S. in purchasing our products to help with the balance of trade.
All right, Jim, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate your calling on this.
That's Jim Miller, a Nebraska soybean producer who serves as chairman of the U.S. Soybean Export Council. He joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more Farm Factor with Chelsea Good of the Livestock Marketing Association.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Tarwater Farm and Home has been family-owned and operated since its beginning in 1978. What you need for farm and agriculture, lawn and garden, clothing and footwear, and so much more. You'll be surprised at what you'll find in this huge store. They have what you need and lots of it. So come take a look. You'll discover that customer service is first and foremost. Always has been with the Tarwaters. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard. This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle and Chelsea talk about the Livestock Marketing Association.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Chelsea Good. Chelsea is with LMA. I will let you, Chelsea, describe, number one, what LMA stands for, but who your members are.
Thanks, Kyle. So LMA is Livestock Marketing Association. We are Kansas City based, but we are the national trade association of your local livestock auction markets. So your local sale barns, stockyards spread out across the United States. We've got about 800 members, and that represents about 78% of your regularly selling local livestock markets would be our membership.
And of course, sale barns have been around for as long as animal agriculture has been in the United States anyway, but there has been an evolution of that. There is a protection that is built in law for people who sell through livestock barns that may not have transferred but in the past.
You're absolutely right, Kyle. So, we've got a strong history in the United States of having these concentration points, from the Kansas City stockyard to what we see as our local sale barns today. And in 1921, Congress passed a law that added protection for your livestock producers that are selling at a stockyard. They have a guarantee of a good check whether or not that livestock market gets paid. So the producers selling at market are guaranteed to get paid. There's a custodial account, there's a prompt payment requirement, and they're going to get paid whether or not the market gets paid by that buyer.
But there's been a recent change that expands that protection.
You're correct, Kyle. So we had a law that passed just here in 2016 that clarifies online and video auctions are also subject to the same law, just like your fixed facility livestock markets. If a producer is selling in an online or a video market, they also have that same protection. They're guaranteed of a good check whether or not the video auction gets paid or not.
Okay, as a livestock producer then, I'm protected at the packer, I'm protected at the sale barn, I'm protected at a video auction, but there's still an area that I may not have the protection I think I have.
You're absolutely right, Kyle, and I would say that's dealing with a livestock dealer. They are covered by the Packers and Stockyards Act. They're bonded, but those bond payments aren't nearly what you might think that they are. We've analyzed the data, and according to USDA data, an average bond payment's about 15 cents on the dollar. In the case of the Eastern livestock bankruptcy that hurt so many producers throughout the U.S., it was 4.37 cents on the dollar. So from our perspective, we think that maybe we need to add another tool to have more security there. At the market, you've got a bond and a custodial account. The packer, you've got a bond and a packer statutory trust. With the dealer, it's just the bond. Maybe we need to look at maybe adding a dealer trust or some sort of a tool that would make the unpaid sellers of livestock the first in line to get paid in the event of a default.
We're visiting with Chelsea Good. She's with the Livestock Marketing Association. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break and hear what Galen Erickson has learned from doing research and visiting with Nebraska cattle feeders.
This is Eric Stonestreet, and as many of you know, I love my home state of Kansas. In March, Kansas ranchers lost homes, equipment, and thousands of cattle from the largest wildfires in the state's history. Imagine losing all you have in a fire. Not just your house, but your livelihood. Ranchers are beginning to rebuild, but it will take years and tens of millions of dollars to build back herds, fences, and other infrastructure. Today, I'm asking you to help. Donate what you can and show your support to the ranchers of Kansas. Simply go to kansasfires.com Your donation is tax deductible and will go to those who need it the most.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, Sure Crop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. Sure Crop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose Sure Crop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and an interview with Galen Erickson.
The future of cattle feeding. When Nebraska's Galen Erickson was asked to speak on that topic earlier this year, he made some predictions based on data.
Philosophically, I think the best way to predict the future is with some recent trends. And we have about a 40-year trend line on increasing carcass weight in beef cattle. It's actually about a 5 pound per year average increase in hot carcass weight for steers and 6 pounds for heifers. So we're continuing to make cattle bigger and bigger, and I don't see that changing until there's some other more invasive way to change that. And it could be change in marketing, could be discounts, whatever, but it's going to be a long-term trend, I'm afraid, until something stops it.
More days on feed also helps increase marbling potential, which is the kind of beef the U.S. is known for producing.
Clearly, I think we have the infrastructure, maybe most importantly the knowledge and the people, to focus still on fattened cattle, which would be high marbled and generally speaking higher fat cattle. That's the market today in the U.S. It has been in recent times. I don't see that changing.
But there is still demand for lean trim, which leaves the domestic beef business with a few options: raise more cows or grow more cattle on forage.
Or a balance between export and imports, and balance maybe exporting very highly marbled, high-quality beef and importing lower quality, more lean trim. Those are all decisions way beyond me, but I think it's clear that something's going to give because we need a lot of lean trim, and yet we produce a lot of well-marbled, high-quality beef. And I from my personal opinion is that we should focus on producing more higher quality marbled beef and be very careful about our import-export philosophies and policies.
Other trends of interest include the increasing feed yard mortality.
With all of the technology that we do have from an animal health perspective and all the management things that we know today, I wish that trend line wasn't going up. And so I'm a little concerned about how we manage cattle, maybe especially this transition of weaning through getting them into feed yards.
A bigger market incentive for preconditioning programs might help, he suggests. Finding the right people to watch over those animals and catch those that are sick is an increasingly difficult task.
One of the biggest things that's on their mind is people and how are they going to handle the personnel needs in the future. There's really two categories of people, though, that we need, right, in many operations, and that's management and so on and so forth, and a lot of knowledge, skill, and a lot of knowledge in different areas, or general labor, very skilled in many cases. So I don't mean labor that's unskilled, but still labor, more focused jobs.
Employees, cattle, health, marketing, feeding. They're all changing. Erickson is optimistic that producers will rise to meet the challenge. I'm Clint Mefford.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
I'm Rexanne Struve, veterinarian in Western Iowa. I have a veterinary clinic and started doing stem cell therapy on dogs in August of 2014. And after the first 2 dogs, after 3 weeks, I saw such dramatic results. I said, hey, I have arthritis. I have joints, really need this help. Where can I go to get this done? I had stem cell therapy done in November of 2014 on my finger joints, my hip, and the ball of my left foot, all of which I'd had real severe problems with. Saw a pretty dramatic improvement in a short amount of time. I would certainly recommend that somebody don't wait until I'm in the position that I was in with the damage already done to my joints. I encourage veterinarians to use it for their animals, and I encourage anybody who sees this video, if you have need, get in contact with these people because this is a phenomenal place to have this done.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with the squinting Duane Toews.
Your fact or fiction question of the day, Kyle Bauer. A male jack refers to a male donkey, while a female donkey is a Jill. Fact or fiction?
Well, I should know this. I thought a female was a Jessie. I thought it was a Jack and a Jessie. Oh, dear.
That's a rock song, isn't it?
I don't know. It's been so long since I was able to rock my songs. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, Jill doesn't sound right. I'm going to go with fiction.
It is fiction.
Is it a Jessie?
No, it's a Jenny.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, I was right, but I was wrong.
You were right for all the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons. Well, that'd be better than being wrong for all the right reasons, don't you think?
Been there a couple times.
Yeah, exactly right.
Unfortunately.
Early politicians required feedback from the public.
Required?
Well, sure. They wanted to know if they were going to get reelected.
You can ask for it.
To determine what people considered important, and there wasn't a way. They couldn't do telephone polls. Certainly couldn't do internet
conference
polls.
Call.
Right, exactly. So since there was no telephones, TVs, or radios, the politicians sent their assistants, and I want to be this guy, to local taverns and pubs and bars.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing background work.
I'm an assistant to the politician.
Yeah.
They were told to go sip some ale and listen to people's conversations and political concerns.
Oh, now they're eavesdropping.
Just go to the tavern and go sip.
Okay.
Well, I'm not much of a sipper myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd forget everything I heard before the night was over.
Many dispatched at different times, so they would go sip here and go sip there. Are you putting it together?
Yeah.
The two words go sip were eventually combined when referring to local opinions, and thus they have the term
gossip.
I think that sounded good enough to be true. So
I suspect.
So I'm selling it as a truth.
There was probably more truth in it than fiction, though.
Well, I mean, it says it on the paper, and it sounded reasonable to me.
I know the meaning to get there, but don't you think? I think that would be a fair way to get the pulse
and
of
much
the
better than
community.
Asking people directly. Just listen to what they're saying in general conversation rather than ask them. That's one thing wrong with a poll. Number one is how they write the question.
Absolutely.
And number two is who they ask.
And how they ask it, which goes back to the question.
Right.
And then I think people feel kind of a responsibility to answer in a means. I think you get both ends. I think you get the pleasers that answer the way they think they want, the poll to come out, and then you get those that are not happy, and they're going to make sure their voice is heard.
And in fact, in
dissension,
in the most recent election, they claimed that was one of the reasons that it was hard to poll that, because a lot of people voted for President Trump who wouldn't admit it in public.
Right.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.